Hi, my name is Alvaro Gonzalez. I am the Dawere CEO and co-founder. During this presentation, you should always keep in mind that whenever I talk about public education systems, I'm referring to countries in Latin America, not the US education system. That context is important. So Dawere is an online platform that allows ministries of education, multilateral organizations, NGOs, and private companies to provide quality, accredited, and affordable online secondary education to their beneficiaries. Our online school is less expensive and has a higher quality than traditional public education, and it allows low-income Latin Americans to work and study at the same time. Our hypothesis is that through a well-designed learning process, asynchronous learning process, we can provide high-quality education at scale for a fraction of the cost of traditional education. So far, we've had amazing results with our students and world-renowned organizations like UNICEF, USAID, UNHCR, Major League Baseball, Aruba's Ministry of Education, and others have used our services to implement education projects in Latin America. So let's start with the problem. The structural problem of education systems in the region is the fact that good teachers tend to gravitate towards better paying jobs in private schools. Therefore, students in public schools and rural areas don't get access to these quality teachers. Then you also have the problem that educational systems are too rigid and don't adapt to each student's needs. You also have the fact that most people can't afford to invest the amount of time and money needed to graduate from a traditional schooling system. And finally, once a student has dropped out, as expected, there's no convenient way for them to resume their schooling. We created the Dawere to provide affordable, flexible, quality, and accredited secondary education for all. In order to do this, we built a virtual education content lab that is constantly generating new video classes, study guides, and tests using only the best teachers from prestigious private schools. Then we upload all this educational content to our own proprietary educational platform. Currently, we have an early version of our solution that has been enough to validate the business model. However, in a couple of years, the solution should look like this. We should be able to offer schooling from middle school to a technical high school degree in Spanish and English with AP courses included. We should have asynchronous education and collaborative learning capabilities that adapt to students' internet connection. That's very important. The platform should prepare students during their entire schooling to obtain high results in the PISA test. That's how we prove the quality of our education to ministries of education. And lastly, governments, multilateral organizations, NGOs, parents, or whoever is paying for the service should be able to monitor students' interaction with the platform. With the early version of our solution, we have managed to get some traction and achieved over $600,000 in revenue in 2021. In the past 3 years, we have had an interesting average yearly growth rate of 243%. In 2021, we had a net profit margin of 32%. The reason why we had such a big net profit margin when we should be investing all of our money in growing the company is that we're still bootstrapping and we're being very careful not to run out of money. Our business model is pretty straightforward. We charge $30 per month tuition fee for the accredited online schooling service. The B2C revenue stream is when we market our services directly to parents and students. And for the B2B2C revenue stream, we have had organizations like USAID, UNICEF, and UNHCR use our services to provide schooling to migrants, refugees, and humanitarian crisis victims. We have also worked with the Ministry of Education of Aruba to provide schooling for migrants there, and we have worked with Major League Baseball to provide schooling for their athletes that go to their baseball academies in the Dominican Republic. These graphs shows how corporate clients have stuck with us and increased their annual purchases with us. Using their feedback, we are building a lot more functionalities for organizations and parents that will allow them to buy and assign enrollment codes for their beneficiaries. They will be able to invite teachers to be a part of their team, monitor students' progress, generate reports and key historical data, and so forth. So in the near future, organization satisfaction should go through the roof. We have also gotten feedback from the last student and parent survey that we ran. From this survey, we learned that 93% of our students say that Dawere's education is equal or better than their previous traditional face-to-face school. This is a symptom of how desperate the market is for our service and how bad traditional education systems are in Latin America. So here's some numbers. 80,000 users have registered for our free educational content service. Over 4,000 users have enrolled into the paid online school service. And so far, we have graduated over 700 students. The business model has been completely validated, and now we're optimizing the learning process and the retention and growth strategies. In Latin America, there are over 12 million children between 6 and 18 years old that are out of school. 15% of enrolled students drop out every year. And this results in that over 50% of Latin Americans over 20 years old don't have a high school diploma. So this problem is so big that governments in the region are throwing $264 billion a year to it and are still failing. There's around $2,000 per student per year. This creates an immense opportunity for us, which was further accelerated thanks to COVID. Now, ministries of education in the region understand the importance of having a virtual education alternative in place. That has helped us obtain educational licenses, and we are even speaking to several ministries of education in the region about partnering with them to offer our educational service to the general public. In terms of competition, there are many US-based online schools in English, which tend to be too expensive for people in Latin America. There are also several local online schools in Mexico and Colombia. And I say local because they are mostly brick and mortar schools that uploaded their content to an LMS. I have not seen another technology company with a global scope like Dawere offering a technological infrastructure and virtual educational content to governments, NGOs, multilateral organizations, and private companies as Dawere is doing. And this means that we have the first movers advantage. Dawere is the first online program manager for ministries of education in Latin America. That means that we will be able to establish a strong brand recognition, create strong bonds with officials, and win over their loyalty. One very important factor is our educational content lab that allows us to produce over 60 video classes per month. This process is very hard to replicate, and you'll see a lot of LMSs out there, but they don't provide the educational content and much less in Spanish. I believe that we will also be the last movers. There are too many barriers impeding newcomers to compete. Building an effective learning process is complex. Obtaining educational licenses is painful. It is costly and time-consuming to produce all that educational content. Selling cycles to Ministry of Education are very long, and Dawere will already be an established brand doing that. In the next several months, we will be releasing Dawere's new platform and new educational content. That means that new academic levels will be offered and better acquisition and retention systems will be deployed. The first thing that I would like to share about our team is that we basically created the legal framework and launched the first online high school in Venezuela, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic. We are pioneers and innovators in Latin America in terms of online secondary education. Sonia is a genius that went from a small town in Venezuela, in the Venezuelan province, all the way to being able to obtain her MBA at MIT. Amir is not just a brilliant programmer, but he's also able to think about the product and how it's going to scale, which is a killer combination. Carlos Espinoza and I met as classmates in Georgetown University in 2018. We began as business partners in Honduras, and he has been instrumental in registering the first online high school in the Secretariat of Education of Honduras. This team has the experience, the resilience, and the growth mindset to make this company very successful. So here's our ask. We're looking to raise $3 million. The Wood is currently net income positive, So these funds will be used to accelerate our growth. That is, developing more educational content, further developing our learning process, and growth and retention systems. But the truth is that the majority of the funds will be used for marketing to make a lot of noise in the countries that we are already operating in. And that is to say, Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, and Honduras. So this is the end of the presentation. If you're interested in what we're doing, please get back to me with all your questions. Thank you.